is no bigger porn star than Jenna Jameson. We still remember such classics as I Dream of Jenna and Where the Boys Aren't. And now she's made the jump to mainstream films with her new movie, Zombie Strippers. Please welcome Jenna Jameson.
I love you.
So,
hey, Jenna.
So, darling,
girl, cutie.
Yeah. My notes tell me that you've made 50 adult
movies.
They call them adult films.
Yeah, porn.
And what made you make this jump to what you call mainstream?
Well, I think for me as a person, it's a natural transition. Most girls in the industry are a little bit afraid because America's not very accepting of what I do.
So they feel they'll be rejected in mainstream movies.
Yeah, but I never did. It was easy for me. Like, I always did mainstream work all throughout my career. I liked to juggle it. I wanted people to think of me more as a smart girl rather than just a bimbo. And it was easy for me to do that.
Jenna, what do you think about, you know, it's estimated that about 1 million people in the U.S. are living with HIV right now. So maybe half of them don't even know that they have it. Do you... Regarding your work and the promotion of sex, do you do work promoting safe sex at all?
Absolutely. I think that it's important to, you know, listen, I'm a porn star. That doesn't mean that I'm a role model, but I have to make sure that I'm somewhat smart and I give a good message. So, you know, when things became heated about the HIV situation, I made sure that I performed safe sex in my movies.
Let me ask you, because you're trying to make a transition, you think it's going to be really hard to transition from being a porn star? I mean, can you ever get over being a porn star?
I'm not really sure. I'm sure that no matter what I do, there's always going to be people that introduce me as former porn star, and I'm okay with that. I think I made that decision to be a porn star early on, and I knew I'd have to live with it.
For the money?
No, it wasn't really about the money. It was more about the fame, I think. And I saw an opening to become a superstar through this vehicle, and I did it, you know?
You didn't feel you had another way to get to fame?
Well, I'm sure I
nice
could
looking
have.
girl, you might have some acting chops.
I could have, but you know, I was always very sexual, and I was accepting of my sexuality. And I saw so many people out there that weren't. And I didn't really understand it. So for me, being a porn star was no big deal.
You had no role models for this mainstream connection that you're making?
No. You know, my mother passed away when I was very young. My father raised me. He was very absent. So, yeah, I made all these decisions on my own.
No, what I meant was, is there a former porn star who has made it into the mainstream that you could say, well, she did it?
No, not really, because I think a lot of them had to denounce it in order to be superstars like Tracy Lords, who was like, oh yeah, I had a fake ID and they forced me into it. For me, it's like I made the decision, I own up to it, and now it's time for me to move on. I'm 34.
Let's look at this movie, yeah.
Well, you know, about your film, Zombie Strippers, because you're going into the mainstream. This is a film, it's about some strippers who become infected with the zombie virus. I watched it yesterday. It's a horror comedy, and so it turns them into flesh-eating stripper sensations. So I want to show the audience a clip of when you were giving advice to one of the others.
It's not a big departure for me.
Okay, but well, you were giving advice to a stripper who's got stage fright. So let's see this clip.
You have to be a warrior, a soldier, fearless, uninhibited, a stripper with a take-no-prisoners, raw survival instinct. So please, for my sake, suck it up.
It's a war out there.
From Nightmare on Elm Street.
You know, I was reading that you say that this movie has a message. What is it?
Well, you know, obviously there's a lot of TNA, there's a lot of, you know, crazy gore, but there's also a lot of political undertones against the whole Bush administration.
Really?
Which everybody, yeah, you know. And that's part of the reason why I did the movie is I kind of fancy myself a little political girl, so I thought it was fun. And
see, now that's a better career decision for you, from porn to politics.
maybe I should run for president.
I like that. I'll have to ask you something
in the news about you, and that is that you left porn because of your health and because you were so very thin, and that perhaps, you know, that word anorexic. Well, how do you answer the fact that
so funny.
how is your health? And you are very thin.
Oh, yes, I'm thin. Isn't that great? No. Listen, I don't believe in all the rumors. In today's world, everybody worries about whether or not they're heavy, whether they're thin. For me, it was about getting healthy. I went through a really hard time about 2 years ago. I had a miscarriage. I was diagnosed with malignant melanoma. I had to have surgery.
Wow.
I then sold my company, ended up having to get a divorce. And this was all in a span of about 9 months. And it wreaked havoc on me. And, you know, I got down to about 92 pounds.
Good Lord.
It was terrible, but that's how I dealt with stress, was not eating. So now I'm, you know, on the road to recovery, and I'm happy. I have a great man, and I'm gonna dominate mainstream.
Jenna, well, you know what?
Thank
Girl,
you.
thank you so much for coming by and sharing with us. We so appreciate it. You guys, Zombie Strippers opens in theaters tomorrow. You'll learn how to pole dance and be a zombie. We'll be right back.